to Coach's Game Plan. Today's game plan revolves around understanding our nervous system and how it's connected to the quality of our life. We also talk a bit about apology languages and love languages, as well as exploring concepts of noise and its impact on our well-being, on our nervous system. So, is there a language that is good or bad? Sometimes when we grow up in North America, we can be exposed to a way of thinking that suggests that English is the best language. And how fortunate that English happens to be our language. There are 6,000 to 7,000 languages globally. This includes ones that are in use and ones that are extinct. Even though various languages create challenges in communicating, it doesn't mean that one language is better than another. So, in learning the 5 love languages and the 5 apology languages, the goal is to recognize that there's no universal right or wrong way of showing or receiving love or apologizing, or even how we need to be apologized to. Each individual has their own unique preferences and their own unique needs. So, by understanding our preferences and our needs, we can cultivate more compassion for ourselves and for people around us. And we can become proactive, ensuring that our needs are being met. Additionally, we gain awareness and diversity of the diversity of human behavior, which fosters more empathy and understanding. Apology languages actually are fascinating to me about how individuals perceive and express their remorse. Now, we discussed in our session, how can we know all of this stuff? We're going to be doing all of these quizzes every week, and I'm supposed to know everything about myself and everyone around us. This knowledge is actually just meant to be a valuable resource for navigating interpersonal relationships. You are not expected to know everyone's language, but the information that you find here could be resourceful for you at a time when something isn't working, and it might help you to resolve some conflict. You are becoming resourceful, full of resources. The information and worksheets on noise are serving to highlight the importance of recognizing our personal limits and boundaries. What may be distressing to one person could be comforting to another. For example, one person is agitated by the constant noise of the television in the background, and for another, it's soothing, and the silence is something that they can't even tolerate. So, ignoring our own individual limits, our own boundaries, our own best way of being has a significant impact on our nervous system and therefore on our overall health and well-being. By identifying and respecting our own individual noise thresholds, we can reduce stress and increase our quality of life. Remember that noise can be anything that drowns out the joy of living. So, what did you think about that experiential exercise that we did, where we adjusted the volume of peace and the volume of stress in your body? Were you surprised by your ability to regulate your state of mind? Remembering, I don't actually have a control here. And yet your peace levels went up and down, your stress levels up and down. What's beautiful about these experiential learnings is that once we experience how this works, we can recreate it. Simply learning head knowledge is just not the same as experiential knowledge. Once your nervous system knows another way of coping that is maybe more beneficial, it's going to want more of that. And it becomes easy to change old coping strategies. So that brings me to perhaps the most important part of this week's lesson, a growing understanding of our need, not our want, our need for self-compassion. Many of us learned coping strategies that have a critical inner voice that tends to push us through the hard things in life. But our intention was never to be cruel. Our intention was to find something that worked. The truth is if we had been overly self-compassionate and never pushed ourselves, that wouldn't be very loving either. We're learning that there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong for anything. And when we know that deeply, then we're free. We're free to find what works best. So when we know that everyone is always doing the best that they can with what they have, then that allows us to respond with acceptance of ourselves and with everyone else in our lives too. We can't fault ourselves for finding a way to survive that worked. We can't fault anyone else for finding a way to survive that worked for them and maybe continues to work for them. What we're doing during this program is we're simply learning new strategies that can allow us to do more than just survive. And as we do, we become a lighthouse, really. We're an example for others as they watch us transform in how we treat ourselves and everyone around us. We're teaching a new way of being. It's no longer about being right, is it? So by tuning into our inner voice and prioritizing our needs, we empower ourselves. We empower ourselves to lead more fulfilling lives. This week's guidepost is actually an affirmation statement, and it serves as a powerful reminder of our inner strength and resilience. I will not allow noise to drown out my inner voice. Another way of saying that is what's inside of me is stronger than what's outside of me. This mindset shifts everything. It has a profound impact on how we navigate life's challenges. This cultivates a greater sense of peace, and this makes it easier to live in a friendly universe. Having inner peace is a sign of a regulated nervous system where our bodies digest and heal, and we're able to use our mind logically instead of having our brain use us in some sort of spin cycle. So anytime we can soothe our nervous system, we are increasing our quality of life. Anytime we can regulate our nervous system, we're moving from survival mode into thriving. I'm so excited about this. I am so excited about how much power you have as you learn to honor your limitations and to stay inside the limits of what works for you specifically, accepting it and honoring it. Mwah. I love you. I can't wait for next week. Don't forget to do your saboteur quiz.